one of my biggest pet peeves in bodybuilding? People ignoring cardiovascular symptoms or even wearing it like a badge of honor. Hi everyone, I'm Marietta. Welcome back to Bodybuilding Chart Notes. Today's chart note is on cardiovascular health during prep and some trends in bodybuilding culture that concern me as a naturopathic doctor. Subjective. Now, to be clear, yes, prep is inherently stressful on the body, as I've mentioned in several videos. So, some fatigue, lower energy, even reduced exercise tolerance are to be expected when you're in that prolonged caloric deficit. But I think sometimes athletes normalize symptoms that do deserve a little more attention. Objective. The first thing I want to talk about specifically is low blood pressure and dizziness during prep, especially symptoms like feeling really lightheaded during your workouts, or seeing spots when you stand up too quickly, or especially getting dizzy during exercises where your head drops below your waist, like let's say back extensions. Now, yes, some mild lightheadedness can happen during prep, but we also need to be realistic and prioritize safety, because if you're dizzy enough to lose your balance, fall, or faint, that becomes a serious injury risk. And even thinking of it physiologically, if blood pressure is too low, you may not actually be delivering oxygen optimally throughout the whole body, but especially the brain. And yeah, training will often not only feel significantly harder, but can really suffer in a low oxygen state like that. And sometimes this can actually reflect a bigger issue going on, whether it's with like fluid intake, electrolyte imbalances, or even nervous system burnout and under recovery. Now, the second topic I wanted to talk about was excessive cardio culture in bodybuilding. So this means like doing multiple hours of cardio every single day and then wearing it like a badge of honor. That concerns me. So when we think of a caloric deficit, there's multiple levers we can use to create that deficit. And that would include, like nutrition and calories, steps and just like general movement, and then formal cardio on machines. And ideally, those levers are being somewhat used like proportionally or strategically. And if someone is simultaneously like eating extremely low calories and doing super high cardio and maxing out activity levels, then I think it's important to honestly assess with the coach how much weight actually needs to come off, how much time is available to show, and what the long-term cost of that approach may actually be. Because yes, sometimes athletes do need to push hard to make a show happen, but it's also important to ask yourself and the coach, what happens afterwards? Will recovery and the reverse diet be compromised? Or will the body be so burnt out that everything crashes post-show? Assessment. I think that bodybuilding culture sometimes glorifies suffering and depletion a little too much. And while prep, it's never gonna feel amazing 100% of the time, I also don't think feeling completely destroyed should automatically be viewed as a sign that someone is doing prep correctly. Plan. So moving forward, I'll continue to pay attention and communicate cardiovascular and recovery symptoms to my coach during prep. Prioritize hydration and electrolyte balance. I've actually started to track my sodium intake during my improvement season so that I can keep things steady during prep and peak week. And also using cardio strategically rather than excessively, which for me is not very difficult to do because I hate being in fluorescent lighting. I would much rather be walking my dog outside. And lastly, continue to prioritize with my coach that more like long-term approach to prep, timelines, and recovery, and just like my journey as an athlete in general. Because for me, the goal isn't just to get lean enough for stage, it's to be healthy enough to recover well afterward too. Closing reflection. A hard prep and unnecessarily suffering are not always the same thing. That's today's chart note. I'll see you in the next one.